And to break this down further, we want to bring in former senior Trump campaign advisor Steve Cortes and founder of the Blue Interactive, and Taryn Rosenkranz. We want to thank you both for joining us here today. A lot to get to, as we just heard from Michael. You know, we also want to bring up that we've got a new poll out this morning that shows Trump's lead is shrinking now in Iowa. He now leads Harris by only 4 percentage points, which is much less than the 18 percentage point lead that he had over President Biden. So, Steve, let's start with you. You know, in a red state like Iowa, is this concerning news? And do you think Trump can still win if he loses Iowa?
Well, to the second question, no, he has to win Iowa. He will win Iowa. Of course, won it by 8% last time. There were polls in September of 2020, credible polls, it's seemingly at least, that showed him tied in Iowa at that time. And then he had tremendous movement for the remainder of September and into October and really won the state running away. I suspect we're going to see a similar phenomenon now. Of course, he is in the lead outside the margin of error. Iowa's a state that, look, we take nothing for granted, of course, those of us who are advocating for Team Trump, but Iowa's a state that he is going to win. And I think winning Iowa bodes well for next door or nearby Wisconsin, which, of course, in many ways is a very similar state. Most credible polling shows that exactly tied in a dead heat. And that, I think, is going to be a much more intense battle than Iowa.
You know, we've also got a new post-debate poll that we've been taking a look at. It shows Harris's lead surging to 5 percentage points, 50 to 45 over Trump, Taryn. That is her biggest lead yet. So, you know, everybody's wondering at this point, can Harris keep this momentum going?
Well, I'd much rather be in the position that Kamala's in than Trump. You want to see yourself in this final approach being in the lead and in the momentum position rather than in the position of trying to be in the struggle of trying to get back the momentum. Because when you're in this final approach, you want to be the one going into the final sprint kind of in the lead and trying to capture that lead and being in there, because you don't want to have to play catch up in the final weeks. This is the point where you're wanting to capture the attention, get excitement going, and capturing where you're getting the agenda and the plans, not just the concept of plans, as we were talking about earlier. She's really in this position where she's getting to know the voters and they're getting excited about what they're hearing. She's really getting their attention. They're really hearing her story and actually getting excited about it. And that's what you're seeing. That's really where this surge in the polls is coming from. She's still really introducing herself in a lot of ways. I think folks didn't really get to know her over the last 4 years for a variety of reasons. And I think what we're seeing now is as they get to know her and hear what she wants to do, they're really getting excited about it.
You know, and this has been crazy. I mean, straddling the line with these polls being so close right now. Harris is also set to meet with the Teamsters tomorrow. It's the powerful labor union that made a historic appearance at the RNC this year, but they have yet to announce their endorsement for either candidate. So, Steve, to you, who do you think it's going to end up going to?
You know, I don't know. I can't speak for the Teamsters, but I do know this. Whatever union leadership decides, union members overwhelmingly support Donald Trump. And that's been clear across polling, particularly in battleground states. And the main reason is that real wages have crashed under the economic mismanagement of Kamala Harris. That's just an economic reality. According to the House Ways and Means Committee, down 3.9%. And real wages means your pay adjusted for the punishing effects of inflation. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden created inflation that saps your buying power. So Americans are working harder to get poorer. That is the reality for working class Americans. And rank and file Teamsters, no matter what their union leadership decides, rank and file Teamsters are going to vote for Donald Trump. And regarding polling, too, I think it's important for us to point out, you know, Taryn mentioned a polling surge for Kamala Harris. There is no surge in the battleground states, not at all. All of the battleground states, if you look at the real clear averages, for example, are well within the margin of error. None of them show a 2% or higher lead either way. So I'm the first to concede this is a very, very tight race, but it is not a race where we're seeing anything like a surge for Kamala Harris, not in the battleground states that are going to decide this election.
You know, so much is focused on the economy right now, and I do want to tell our viewers we have a panel coming up on that and a segment that we're going to go deep on that. But in-person early voting, that's another big thing we're watching today because it gets underway in Pennsylvania tomorrow, banning fracking. It's a major concern in that state, as we know. Harris has been criticized for going back and forth on the issue, but said she wouldn't ban it during the debate. So, Taryn, do you think that voters believe her at this point? I mean, what do you think?
I think it's really important that she has proven to be the more trustworthy of the candidates here. I mean, I think that honesty is not something that people associate at all with Donald Trump. I think there's no problem there that she has proven to be a trustworthy candidate. And I also think that when it comes to an issue such as fracking, it is one that people do understand that it is a complicated and complex issue, and one that people do need to dig into to really understand. I don't think it's something that anyone thinks, oh yeah, I get this really easily. And so they appreciate that people have taken the time to understand it, and that once you do, if it's something that you maybe are open to changing your mind to, that's okay. And so I think it is one of those. It's one of the few issues that people do understand, maybe that you are open-minded to. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and everybody wants to know what the undecided voter is leaning towards. This week is going to be a big one. Former senior Trump campaign advisor Steve Cortes and founder of New Blue Interactive, and Taryn Rosenkranz. We want to thank you very much for being here on your Sunday. Appreciate your perspective.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.